You want to say hello? You want to say hello? Say hello! Hello! Welcome back to my channel. I'm Marissa, and I am the crafter. I'm going to call myself a crafter today. I am the crafter behind Missouri Makes. And you can find me on Instagram, where I post pictures randomly. I'm not very consistent on it. And you can find me on Ravelry, where I put all of the show notes for everything that I talk about here. Sometimes I put links in the description box down below, but usually everything is listed in the show notes in my group chat over on Ravelry. So that's where you can find all that. If you have any questions about the show notes, if you can't get on Ravelry, I will be happy to start putting them in the description box. But I just usually put them over there in the group, and it works. So I have a lot to show you today. I'm excited. So this one's going to be a little bit of a longer video. But I have finished objects, I have whips, I have something I'm going to be taking out, which makes me sad, but I'm glad to get it off the needles as well. I haven't touched it in like a year, so it needs to go, or I need to fix it or something. So I will probably be ripping it out, and I'll talk more about that here in a little while. And I got yarn to show you. I got something else that I thought I would try, and I figured that would be something else we could bring into the YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and get started. I think I'm going to do finished objects. Let's do that first. Finished objects first is I made some cotton coasters. These are made out of 100% cotton, and I don't know what kind it is. I've had the yarn for years, but it's very, very cotton. You can tell. It's a number 4 weight. I want to say it's Bernat. I don't know. It comes in these big skeins like this. And I have another one that matches, but it's like, it's got specks of different color, like green, and I want to say white. I'm not sure. It's somewhere. I gotta find it, because I'll make some more coasters and stuff. I want to make like a towel or whatever to go underneath my dish rack, so that I don't use towels and stuff. But that's what I'm using right now for these. We recently got a coffee table, if I can use words correctly today. We got a coffee table here recently, and it's wooden, so I figured I'd make some cotton coasters to go underneath our cups so it didn't leave the rings, because I don't like that. So we're not gonna, hopefully we'll use these and we won't get the little rings on the coffee table, because Marissa don't like the rings. Next thing is I finished the hat. This, if I'm not mistaken, I showed you in the last video that I posted. It was in progress, but I finished it. It is just a basic, I'm going to say it's a beginner friendly hat. I do 1x1 ribbing, and then the body of the hat is just stockinette, and I usually do about an inch, inch and a half of ribbing. Just depends on my mood, what I want to do. And then at the top I divide the stitches into 6 and have 6 decreases up here, and I'll do a round of decrease and then a regular round and then decrease and go back and forth until it is small enough. But yeah, this one is made with Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn in berry. I think it's the Stonewash berry color. But it's super soft and squishy. I love it. Let's see if I can put this on. It's just a basic beanie. There's no slouch to it. You could totally add a pom-pom, but Chad didn't want a pom-pom on his. He didn't ask for any, so I'm not going to put a pom-pom on it. But I finished that one, and like I said, I have 3 to make, and got the second one finished. This one's in Yarn Bee Honey. I don't know why that's hard to remember, but it's just a golden color. Now, I had a little bit of trouble on this. I did them both exactly the same. I used a size 6 DPN for the ribbing, and then I used a size 8 DPN for the body of the hat. And this one, even though it says it's a number 4, it's slightly thinner, kind of like Caron Simply Soft. Caron Simply Soft is classified as a 4, but it seems like it's on the thinner side. At least it does compared to this. This seems thick and fluffy. This is soft, but it's not as dense, I guess. But yeah, it's got a shine to it. You can see I had trouble with this because with it being slick, the stitches kept sliding off of the DPNs, and they kept sliding off, and I'd have to pick them up and redo the stitches because, I don't know, it was just giving me trouble. I pushed through it because I have to have that done, but hopefully next time whenever I use this yarn or Caron Simply Soft or any other slick yarn like this, hopefully I'll have DPNs that are wooden, or maybe some 16-inch circulars, because I don't think that they would slide off as bad if I had 16-inch circulars, but because I'm doing these on DPNs, then they slide off a little bit more. This is something that I wouldn't put in my purse to take with me on a ride because I'd be afraid that they'd come out. But because this is slightly thinner yarn, it goes, and I did the stitches the same way, and it's slightly snugger, but it still fits. It's still stretchy. You can see it still stretches and has enough room. But I could not for the life of me get this one figured out. I started off on a bad start. I started them off on the bigger needles when you're supposed to start them out on the 6s, and so I had to switch them over to 6s, and then once I got the ribbing done, I had switched them over to the larger needles, and then laid the project down and forgot that I was supposed to be doing stockinette and tried to do the ribbing over in the bigger needles. And then once I finally got that figured out, I didn't have really a problem besides my stitches falling off. I had to pick those up. But here on the decreases, the other one, like I said, I divided the stitches into 6 and did 6 decreases and then a regular round and the 6 decreases. For some reason, I couldn't get on the same train with this one because it did 5 decreases instead. You can't tell it. It still looks good. So even if you did 6 or 5, it doesn't matter. It still will turn out the same. It'll still turn out good. But yeah, and then I started on the third one. See how I got my stitches laid out here. What did I do? Okay. Well, maybe not. I don't know. We'll figure it out later. But I just got the ribbing started on it, and I don't think this one will take as long to make because it's kind of like the berry color one. This one is the same brand. It's I love this yarn. Hobby Lobby, I love this yarn in Antique Teal, I believe. But it's not Stonewash, it's just the regular. So it's solid. but it shouldn't take as long because I whipped this one, the pink one, off of my needles in a couple of days. And so that one should work out just fine and come off in a couple of days. I think that is all of my finished objects. Should we go on to whips? There's a wasp outside my window. I started the blanket. I told you last week that I had planned on doing a circle or a starburst type pattern for Connor's blanket. I did the Speedy Granny Ruth blanket for Rikers, and it came out gorgeous. I love it. I love that pattern, but I get tired of it. I like the end result. I just get tired of actually doing the pattern. It gets repetitive and boring, and I get to the point where I don't want to work on it. So I decided to do a different one this time, which is I used Jada and Stitch's YouTube video. She's got a channel. I'm sure you know who she is, and I will link everything in show notes so that you can go and find her channel if you don't know her. But I used her pattern to make this one. And I've passed baby blanket size, I believe, but I still got a ways to go. Connor is 7, I think, but he's not a very big 7-year-old, so I don't have to make it huge, but I still got a ways to go on it. And you can see here we've got the darker color, white, the medium blue, and then the gray. I only have 4 colors going for this blanket, but I bought, in the darker color here, I bought a bigger skein. And what I'm doing is I do 3 rounds of the white and the medium blue and then the gray, and then on the darker blue, because I have a bigger skein of it, I do 5 rounds of it. So the darker blue has bigger straps in it, but it's a 3-round repeat and super easy. You ain't got to think about it. It's perfect for vegging out in front of the TV and crocheting. But it's gotten to the point where the stitch count is big enough that it's like every round takes forever. But I don't think I have a whole bunch left to do, but it should. I'm hoping that I get it done in about a week or so. Maybe next video I'll have it done. But I don't have to have it done until next month, because we'll go see him for his birthday, and that's whenever we'll be taking it. So I don't have to stress over it, but I really want to get it done. Alrighty. My last whip that I'm going to show is, we'll show it on this side because I've got ends. We'll show it on the pretty side. But this is it. Doesn't this look like spring? I love it. I love the green. I'm not a green person. I like more of a olive green, I guess. More on the dirty green kind of side. I don't like Kelly green or things like that. But this is so pretty. Look at that. It's got specks of red and kind of a lime green yellow color. And we've got blue. Isn't that pretty? I am in love with this color, and I'm in love with this stitch pattern. I'm using, where did I put the thing? I've got all kinds of stuff on this table. It is a 6mm size J hook. I'm using a big needle with sport weight yarn. This is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. It's a non-superwash wool. There's 264 yards per hank, and this is what I got out of the first hank. I've got 3, maybe 4 more hanks to go. I think what I'm going to do, I started off, it goes like this, but whenever you wear the shawl, you'll hold it like this. So I've started off with, there's double crochets, chains, single crochets, stuff like that. I started off with it, and I think what I've decided is I used a hank for this, and then what I'm going to do is when I start the next hank, I'm going to do another stitch pattern and just have kind of like a, what do you call it? A sampler where you have different stitches. And so I think I'm just going to play around and do that. This is what I have left of the hank. It's still attached. I haven't cut it off or anything. But the other hanks that I have to go with it, I dyed 3 hanks and they all came out pretty much the same. I mean, one came out darker. They're all slightly different. But this is the hank. See how pretty that is? I absolutely love the blues and the reds. And you look here, where the blue and red touch, you got purple. And then there's lighter blue over here. See how pretty that is? This is one of them, and then this is the one that came out a little bit darker. It's more of a muted green, which I love just as much. But you see you got the reds and the blues. Like I said, this is a non-superwash wool, so whenever I go to block it, I'm going to have to be careful not to felt it. But I'm super excited. It's a sport weight. Yeah, it's a sport weight yarn. I'm using a bigger hook, so it creates this lacy. I'll pick that up in a minute. It creates this lacy effect. And then if that's not enough to go with it, I have this more of a solid green. It's got little specks of red and maybe a little bit of blue in it, but it's pretty much green, and it's still in the same family of green, so it'll go perfectly with it if I need it. But I started in dyeing. I got a box of yarn, and like, I can't stop dyeing. I love dyeing yarn. And I got a box from Knit Picks and instantly started dyeing. I couldn't help myself. And yeah, I went through about half of it. This one I'm keeping for myself, and the goal was for Missouri Makes, whatever, for me. The goal was to start dyeing yarn, making stitch markers, stuff like that, and make some for me, and maybe start a shop and put a few pieces in here and there, because I absolutely love dyeing yarn. It is such a joy to do. I love playing with colors like this. And so my husband talked me into finally making my labels for the yarn, and talked me into starting to sell it. And so I've got my own shop set up on Big Cartel, and it'll be linked down below in the show notes and probably in the description box. But I figured I'd show you on camera what I've been making, what I've been dyeing. Now, I've been doing these in sets of 2. I did these in sets of 2. I've got pinks. And then I have a one-of-a-kind set that I made one with the colors, and then used another one to soak up what was left of the color, so they both go together, but they're not the same. But I've put them in together as a set because they will go into the same project and be beautiful. So the greens was what I first dyed up, and I decided to keep it for myself. This I decided to go ahead and put in the shop. This is the colorway Spring is Here, and you can tell we've got some pastel purples and pinks and some blues, and it just goes from one shade to the next. It's all a tonal colorway. And there's the one. And I've got the matching hank. And like I said, these are 264 yards each. Sport weight, non-superwash, 100% Peruvian Highland wool. Now, these are not identical, but I used the same colors and the same technique, so they will go together in whatever project you decide to make. So if you want these, if this is the color you want, you might want to snag at both of them, because I cannot recreate this one. I don't have the dye to redo this exact one. This is going to be it for these. So there's 2 of them. You can do a hat set with a scarf. You can do mitts. You can do just about anything. And you can't do a sweater. Unless you're doing it for a baby. You could do it for a baby and it would be really pretty. But that's this. Let me get these hanged back up. Oh, this one. I'll do the other one later. That's what it looks like. That's Spring is Here. Those are still in the shop as of right now when I'm talking to you. And then I dyed up the one-of-a-kind set. This is the one that I soaked up the color afterwards. It's mostly blue. And it's got hints of purple in it, like a pink and a purple. So, that one. And then, look at my little label. Isn't it cute? The color isn't exactly what I want. It's a little too pink for my likings. I wanted it purple. But, I'm still working on it. It will get better. Let me go ahead and pull this label off so you can see. See that? Then we've got more of like a magenta and purple in there. See the darker magenta like? And it goes like that. Now this one, I have the dye to recreate, but it won't be exactly the same. So if you want this exact hank of yarn, if you want this exact set, you might want to grab it up, because I can recreate it, but it is not going to be exactly the same. This is one of a kind. Okay. And I'm only going to open one of these because they're both the same. They were in the same batch. But this is called Rosewater. I love, see the tonal, the light pink and the dark pink in them. I tried to put some speckles in it, and it didn't speckle the way I wanted it to. but you can still see them. So you got the darks, and then it goes into the lights. And if you look right here, see the speckling? I don't know if that's showing up on camera. There's little hints and speckles of blue. You'll find, and you see here, there's a lighter patch of pink versus the darker patch. There's little speckles of blue in it, which I love pink and blue together. I don't know about you, but I wanted to make some more of spring like colors, and so I did these two here, and these are rose water. You want to do the whip that I'm fixing to take out? It's held in this basket here. I haven't touched this thing in a year or more. I started on, this was a design that I had in my head. It's not anything that I was following, but yeah. So it's dusty because I haven't messed with it. It's so pretty. But what I had planned on doing was making a cardigan, like a jacket. It's like a baby weight yarn, and so it's going to be light. And I'm using size 6 4mm knitting needles. They're Knit Picks, I believe, but yeah, I was going to work on a cardigan with this, and I haven't taken the time to mess with it, and I figure if I'm not going to work on it, then I might as well take it out. And what I'm going to do is, over on Dynamite Trujillo, I can't remember what her podcast name is, but I watch her all the time, and she's got a, I think it's called a make-along going on, the Fin Fix Frog. If it's not correct, I'll put it down at the bottom. But yeah, she's got that, and what it is, and you take a whip and you finish it, or you frog it, or you take something that you have already made, and it, like, if there's something wrong with it, like there's a boo-boo that you made, you fix it. And when you do that, you can finish, fix, or frog. And when you do that, you take a picture of it and you enter it in on her group in Ravelry, and she's giving out prizes and stuff like that. I think it's going to be cool to see all of the people who participate in it. I love watching her videos. I'll link her down below, but she dyes yarn as well. I love her yarn. She makes such beautiful things. I do hers, and let's see, what was the other one I was going to talk about? Have you ever seen The Fat Squirrel Speaks? I didn't start watching her when she first put her videos out, but I caught on to her probably mid last year. She's hilarious. I love her. I love her channel. She makes me laugh. She makes me smile every time I watch her videos. And so I thought I would put her down below so you can check her out, because she's one of my favorites right now. Her, Dynamite Trujillo, and Roland Vine. Love their podcasts. Okay. Something that I had decided to do in April was do Yarn Bingo. Have you ever played Yarn Bingo? What it is, if I understand correctly, what you do is there's things on this piece of paper, and you're supposed to do them. And this one is April's bingo card. And what you do, you have to do the things on the card and see if you can get them lined up in a row and get a bingo. And see how many you can get for the month or the year or whatever it is that whoever you're participating with. I've joined a Facebook group on Facebook that I just blanked. I joined a Facebook group because the Happy Crafty Homemaker, she linked it down so that we could go and get yarn bingo, because she does yarn bingo. I follow her and I watch her videos when she puts them out too. Love her work. She's so cheery. I like watching her podcast too. And so I decided to print me one off, and I figured I would see how many bingos I could get, and I could share it with y'all if that's something you're interested in. I've already got a good start on it. I finished, see this one that I already did? I finished a whip, which would be this. Make a hat. We'll count the gold one as making a hat. I'll do my best not to count one as two. Create something for the den, living room, or office. Where'd they go? Ghosters, the living room. Make a wearable item. I am working on this shawl, and now that I have showed y'all what I'm working on, I'm going to start taking the other hanks apart and finish this quickly because I am excited. Blanket in progress. I got one of those in progress, and before the month of April's finished, I'll probably have the other one in progress. So I've got quite a few done, but at the end of April, I will make a video and show y'all what it is that I've done. And if I don't have the physical item with me to show you, I will try to at least have pictures to show you so that you can see I did the work. What else did I want to talk to you about? Patterns. Patterns that I am looking at to make here in the near future. I got show notes. I'm all fancy today. Okay, I found 3 patterns that I am loving right now. And I don't know when I'm going to get to making them, but hopefully here soon I will get around to it, because these are more of, well, 2 out of 3 are more of a summer type make. One of them is for the winter, coming up winter, because I absolutely love them and I have to have them. I'll be making them, and I'll probably use my dyed yarn because it's color work, and I've not done a lot of color work, but what I'm told, what I've watched on YouTube with other podcasters, is you want like a non-superwash, more of a rustic type yarn to make color work, that it works better. So I figure I will use a non-superwash wool to do the color work. But the first one, and we got our computer in, so if I can figure out how to edit this video correctly, then I'm going to take, I keep hearing something, maybe it's my dog. I'm going to take and put a photo over here, probably here, if I can. But one of the patterns that I'm looking at, this is a paid pattern. It is called Spring Heather by Carmen Heffernan. It is a half circle shawl. It's crocheted. It looks like it's on the beginner side, so it shouldn't take too long to make, but the colors she chose are gorgeous, and she's using a Knit Picks, I believe, Knit Picks yarn, and she chose perfect colors for the shawl. It's gorgeous. I will link it down. If I can't figure out how to put a photo here, then I will definitely make sure that everything is linked in show notes. So, and the next one I've been looking at this pattern since they did the spring bundle. Raylan from Itching for Some Stitching, she did a crochet blog hop type thing. I don't know exactly what you call it, but you go from each blog to pick up the pattern for free, or you can buy the bundle. And these patterns that are for free, they're only free for a certain amount of time, and then they're paid patterns. So this pattern that I'm fixing to mention is a paid pattern now, but she did a spring crochet blog hop thing, and I picked it up while it was free because I watched every day until it was up, because I am in love with this tank top. It's a tank top. But I don't know if it's the color, I don't know what it is, but I love it. And that is the Penelope Raglan tee by Itching for Some Stitching. And hopefully I can put a video, not a video, but a picture here to show you what it looks like. But it is absolutely gorgeous. I love her work. Her pictures are professional. And I believe her daughters are the ones that are usually in the photos. And they're gorgeous. They do amazing work. And I can't wait to start the crochet top. I gotta find the yarn. I figure I want to do a cotton so that it's not as hot on you, because it's a tee, so you should be able to wear it through summer, which means that you would want like a cotton blend yarn, right? I would think. And the last one is a free pattern. I found it because I was bored and I was scrolling through Ravelry trying to find different patterns that caught the eye. And this one really caught the eye because it's got owls on it. Anything that has owls, I am a sucker for, because I love owls. I love owls and I love the color purple. That's just me. And so these mitts, they're hand mitts. They don't have individual finger holes. It's one piece. And I think that it will unbutton. I'm not sure. Don't take my word for it. But it's got owls on the mitts, and they're stunning. I've not done much color work, like I said, but this one I am willing to try. This one's by Rebecca Tsai, Tsai. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. I'm assuming that it's Tsai, but her work is impeccable. It's gorgeous. I love it. She's got other things on there. I recommend going and looking because love her work. And I think that is it. I was looking at my notes. I think that's it. I hope that y'all have a wonderful day, morning, evening, whatever time I decide to put this out. Y'all stay crafty. Get to knitting. Get to crocheting. Come on. I'm going to, I guess, go do something so it looks like I've actually done something around the house. Because I've been sitting on the couch knitting and crocheting for a while. So, I guess I need to go wash dishes. And y'all have a wonderful day. And I will see you in the next episode.